Hello, welcome to Lorbeck Luxury Cars. Oh, Mum, do you want to be on camera? Yes. Hello and welcome to Lorbeck Luxury Cars. I'm Harry, and on this edition of the Friday Drive, as you've probably guessed, we're not doing the Friday Drive because once again, we're in lockdown. Feels a bit like Groundhog Day, doesn't it? But anyway, we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to have a look at a few of our latest arrivals. And first, cab off the rank, is this, our 2014 Rolls-Royce Wraith. Now, first point of interest on this car is what lies under the bonnet, because underneath is a 6.6 litre, 465 kilowatt V12 twin turbo. I think I said that. And not that you'd really know there was that much power under the bonnet, because inside it is so refined. It's an absolute triumph in luxury and smoothness. Stepping inside, you're immediately greeted with what can only be described as quite a simple but very sophisticated and elegant interior. And there's lots of nice little touches everywhere you look, like this button here which closes the door for you, because obviously I'm too lazy to do it myself. And once you go in and you start her up, oh, there's nothing better than the sound of a V12 starter motor, I think. That zip, woof. Now, don't let the apparent simplicity fool you. Just because you can't dial in your climate control to 1/2 of a degree doesn't mean that there's any lacking in technology, because behind the scenes there's some really clever kit which makes this one of the best driving cars on the road today. And if you want to see what it's like to drive, jump over to the previous Friday Drive we did on one of our other Rolls-Royce Wraiths, because in here somewhere there's a gearbox, and that is linked up to the sat-nav. And what it does is, as you're approaching a corner, the sat-nav lets the gearbox know what gear it should be in to make it the smoothest and most effective way of going around that corner. How clever is that? And of course it's got all the technology you'd expect and luxuries, like heated and cooled seats with multi-adjustable lumbar support, radar guided cruise control, cameras everywhere and heads-up display. It's got everything you want plus a whole lot more. But unfortunately, there's only one chink in the armour of this story, and that is, this car's already sold. So if you're in the market for a Rolls-Royce Wraith, you better let us know, because next time one comes in, it's likely to sell just as fast as this example. Now, moving on to something completely different, which is this, our 2017 Ford Mustang GT. Now, what makes this car particularly special is under the bonnet is a 5-litre supercharged Edelbrock V8, putting out 665 horsepower. Now, that's quite similar to the Wraith. As a matter of fact, I think it's almost the exact same power once it's converted, but it does it in a slightly different way. Now, I could go through all the features of this car, like the heated and cooled seats, the Bluetoothy stuff, all the tech and interesting things that come standard in this car. But let's be honest, you're not really interested in that. What you want to know is what this thing sounds like. So let's do it. How good does that sound? But in another awful event of deja vu, this one sold as well. Can you believe it? This one was on the net for, I don't know, only a couple of days. And it's hardly surprising. It is probably the coolest Mustang, one of the coolest Mustangs we've had for a very, very long time. So again, if you're in the market for something like this, give us a call, because next time one comes in, we'll be able to sell it to you. Anyway, moving on. And last, but certainly not least, is this, our 2017 BMW 740i. Now, before you go around and go, oh, it's a BMW 740, it's not that interesting. Wrong. As you might have been able to tell from the slightly unusual colour and the wheels, this is a full individual spec. So what does that mean? Well, obviously you've got this particularly fascinating colour, I think. What's it called? Champagne quartz, according to my notes. This particular paint called Champagne Quartz, and these unusual wheels, which you don't often see on a 7 Series, hint to the fact that this is in fact a full individual, which means it's got all the luxuries you could possibly think of in a car of this caliber. Step inside and I'll show you what I mean. Inside, it's a symphony of luxury with cross-quilted and piped leather seats, Napa leather seats, and this very, very nice sort of inlay everywhere, and the piano black finishes and sunroof and this Alcantara roof. It's a really, really lovely place to be. But to be honest, where it's most interesting is in the back seat. Now, despite the fact that this isn't the long wheelbase version, you're not lacking for space back here. And if you look in the middle here, I've got this little iPad-y, oop, no, that's not the button, this one here, I've got a little iPad-y thing which lets me control just about everything in the car, from, I can see, driving information, whatever that is, to the climate control, which allows me to control the climate. Interesting, that. All the way to the seats. Now, these seats are particularly interesting because they move in a whole bunch of weird and wonderful ways. And when I close the door, I can control all things like the window too. All the blinds come up, so you're pretty much hidden away from the entire world. How nice is that? But I think you're going to guess what I'm about to say next. Soft closed doors. Nice. But don't be too quick to judge, because this example is in fact not sold. It has just arrived and it's just gone on the internet, and I suspect by tomorrow, which is incidentally Friday, we don't film these on a Friday because someone's got to edit it, this car will probably be sold. But if it's not, make sure you give us a call, because this particular example, just a shade over 63,000 kilometres from you and a fully authorised BMW service history, is the best example on the market today. This is an absolute winner, this one. So if you're in the market for your next dream car, jump onto lawbeck.com.au to view our latest arrivals, and make sure you subscribe to the newsletter and keep watching our Friday drives to see what's new and fresh and interesting in the range. And as always, we'll see you next week.